everybody, my name is Priscilla and this is the Osho Tarot reading for the new moon in Scorpio, which is actually the 24th of October. It's been a very, very intense time for everybody. And I think almost every time I do a reading, I say that there's something that hasn't, that people haven't been affected by something somehow because it's been so intense. But what I have noticed mostly is apart from the fact that I've been reading a lot of research about what this new moon is going to be about in terms of relating and connecting, and the Scorpio energy can be very deeply powerful and also quite sexual and quite intense, but also too about how we relate to people in our lives on every level, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, and looking also too sometimes at what's going on with the intensity of the eclipse. It's a solar eclipse being the new moon as opposed to the lunar eclipse on the full moon, which was 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so, on a personal level, oh my God, roller coaster, up, down, sideways, back out again, feeling like I've been chewed up and spat out and put through the ringer 50 million times. And for what it's worth, been the most cathartic and extraordinary experience I can genuinely say in my life. So if you're feeling lots of emotion at the moment, it's actually quite allowable. Please let yourself go there. It's really important to allow yourself to feel these emotions. One of the things that struck me this morning was how, even though I had cleared a lot of stuff, what had come through was lots of emotion that wasn't necessarily specifically related to the circumstances that I just experienced, but feeling the emotions that had been probably the layering behind all of this stuff. So looking at potentially, the maternal line, and if your emotions come to the surface, they can actually be unlocking old stories that have been in you for such a long time. So without further ado, I shall draw a card, and let's just see what card comes for us today. And I think I've drawn this before, but this is actually the awareness card. It's a powerful, powerful card. I think I've said this before, I don't think there's a card in this deck that isn't powerful on some level. But effectively, yes, it's about awareness. It's about recognizing that we're burning off old stories, burning off all the stuff that doesn't really relate to who we are anymore, and allowing our true selves to be present to ourselves, to the world as well, because the funny thing about this is not funny at all, actually, really not funny at all, but it is actually quite a challenging time because we feel so vulnerable. This part of us that we don't show the world is such a vulnerable part of us. And when we do burn off all the old stories and we burn off all the old stuff that doesn't serve us anymore, that vulnerable part of us actually needs to learn how to feel safe in the world. And it's a big learning for us to recognise this and to continue to hold a safe space so that we don't get destroyed by the experience, that it actually becomes a learning experience, and it becomes a clarity and a willingness to keep moving forward, because the more we stay in our heart and the more we allow this vulnerable part of ourselves to be expressed, the more we can actually live truly from an authentic place. And that's one of the biggest challenges. We live in a world that does not allow us to be authentic on many, many levels. And when we go through experiences that strip away all of the surface stuff that's kept us protected for so long, there's this part of us that's actually quite terrified about allowing these vulnerabilities to be right at the surface, and also to actually be strong enough to show them to other people and know that we're going to continue to be safe. My personal journey has been around vulnerability and expressing my vulnerability around masculine, and then as time has gone by, it's been really fascinating how much it's opened up and allowed me to go deep into other aspects of my feminine that I didn't even realise was still wrapped up in keeping her protected. And as I've learned to express these vulnerabilities, I have been deeply, deeply touched by the support that has come through. I have had the most extraordinary experiences, and I've had the most amazing connections with such beautiful, heart-opening people. And gosh, what can I say? So, when we know these people have come into our lives for a reason, you know, we need to trust that they're there to help us and stay true to ourselves. And so my sharing for you today and the ability to, well, the message for you with this awareness card is, when the awarenesses come to your surface, please don't knock them back. Allow yourself to go deep into them and recognize that the closer you can come to your authentic self, to allow all of the surface stuff to be burned off, honestly, at the heart of it, the happier genuinely you will be, because you're not running to other people's tunes anymore. You're actually running to your own. And this is the key thing. When we start to see these awarenesses in ourselves, when we start to understand how precious this part of us is and not to keep it hidden anymore, then the more heartfelt lives we can genuinely live. So I think at this point that's probably enough. There's going to be another card on the full moon on the 7th of November, which will be in Taurus. I've done some research finally, yay! So yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope that you enjoy this, and please feel free to share the messages. It's literally something I love to do, and I really love sharing what I get. And I'm really hoping that if you see this and you feel there's a message in there for you and other people you know, please feel free to share the love. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.